morning, folks. It's June 30, year 2000. We are at the Comfort Inn. We're checking out of our rooms. We're momentarily catching a cab to the JFK ship, aircraft carrier where we will board and spend 2 days. And we just woke up. And
that's the one. I really just went out of curiosity. I went to the 25th anniversary of the case on veterans.
Dad, would you like to say a couple words?
Hey, boy.
We'd like to say good morning, folks back home.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here to say good morning to you. And when you get up, why you think of us, we're probably out on the high seas. I don't know how high. How about it?
Hopefully not too high.
All right.
And you're heading out to sea today with us also, huh?
As well.
And your name is?
Frank McDonough.
Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Not bad. Not bad.
What a wonderful name, McDonald. It's as Irish as you can be.
Irish as you can get.
Yeah.
Scottish.
Well, we're waiting for a taxi. Should be here momentarily. And then we're going across the street, get a cup of coffee. So we'll pick up in a few minutes at the coffee shop or at the dock. We're in the gas station here getting a cup of coffee.
You know, they don't have coffee ready yet.
They don't have coffee ready yet?
Why don't we go to the next place?
Yeah.
Time-wise.
What happened here, Dad? No coffee, Dad? No coffee?
No, they don't have
All
any.
right.
They picked up all the coffee.
Over here, Dad.
They had a run on coffee this morning.
Oh, boy. Well, let's get on in the car.
They weren't ready.
Well, we're going to try 7-Eleven now. Everybody gets out. We'll see if 7-Eleven's got coffee. Here, Dad, you going to hold? Here, hold it. Let's go see if 7-Eleven's got coffee.
Yeah. It's not the kind of hospitality I'm used to down here.
Yeah.
So I took a guess. I called down to the front desk and they said 15 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. That's all. Do you have your passes to get inside the gate?
I think if before 6 you don't need one. But we'll sure do have them, though.
That's news to me
That's a big...
because they do check them.
Yeah, we got
I
IDs.
think they have the roster there to check you off anyway.
Yeah, I think they have to check you out.
But we'll do what we need to. What's that on top of that building? Is that building under construction?
Yes. There's a lot of construction going on here right now.
Where's the Navy get the money to build something new?
Suckers like you and me. We're paying for it. You know.
Oh, is this the entrance gate?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what the holdup is.
How you feeling there, Dad?
4-0. Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. We're all going to the.
Where are we going?
We're all going to JFK.
JFK?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
We could be a taxi full of terrorists in here.
I don't even think you're supposed to have a camera.
Now, the guy yesterday said we could film it, but they'll tell you when they don't want it being filmed.
Oh, okay. Oh, a lot of extra parking over here today for some reason. This lot is full,
Oh, yeah?
and it's not generally like that. Everybody squeezes up towards that end.
There she is, Dad.
Yep.
Dead ahead. Thing's gigantic, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The Christmas, they're pretty long.
the name recognition has a lot to do with its popularity, of course.
And the name is.
And the JFK, what are you shooting through the
Yeah,
window?
I got you in the ship at the same time.
Oh, for God's sakes.
So if you want to keep talking.
No, I don't have much to say this morning, you know.
You got up at
Except
what time today, Dad?
Delightful. We have to be there at 0600. We got
0600, we got up.
15
But we
minutes.
have to be there at 600.
There she is.
There she is. She gets bigger as we get closer to her. Of course, we got a wonderful driver this morning.
Yes, you do.
And your name is? And your name is?
Barbara.
Barbara.
Were it not for her humility, she would have so much to tell you.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer. She's getting the, I guess they're building the steam in the engine room. I guess getting those engines warmed up. We'll be leaving here in about 2 hours. Our scheduled departure is 8 o'clock, or 0800.
Yeah, let's clean up your language, Nino.
Yeah. Boy, it's getting bigger and bigger.
It's filling up your screen.
Yeah. Look at the size of that, Jasper. Wow. Okay. Barbara, you did a wonderful job today.
Thank you.
You got us here safe and sound, and we appreciate it.
Go, Bobby.
Yeah, but not, but Roy, you're New York. Whereabouts now? Where in New York?
McDonough.
Well, I was born in Bethel, Connecticut. Right across that.
You moved down to
Yeah.
south here.
Yeah, I went below the Mason addiction.
What a difference.
They kept it.
First name was Brady, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. That was nice.
It was.
Second name off the list. Yes.
It's there. It's supposed to be there.
You mean yes, sir?
Well, we're gonna, I speak to myself.
Oh, this will be fun.
Great expectation.
Good morning. See if maybe we can get away from the water here so we look.
Here, Nino, let's get away from the entrance way.
Here's the Fred. Mike Brown.
Oh, my name is Joe. I'll let it go.
I actually didn't catch his name. Yep, he's on his way right now. Thanks. All right, bye. Oh, I'm here. I talked to James and said that I would collect people out here at the front gate. He was going to send escorts.
There we go.
He had no idea what it hurt or anything like that. He was doing his roof one day. There he is.
The sun is rising here on June 30, year 2000. We're at the dock of the JFK in Norfolk, Virginia. And there is the sun for a brand new day. God has given us a sun for another day. The sun's coming up over behind my left shoulder, Dad. No, this way. The sun is over here.
Oh,
It's coming up.
on that side.
Yeah.
You use up all your tape.
Nah, tape is cheap.
Wait till the action gets started.
Hey, Commander, how are you? Can we come?
How you doing, sir?
Can we come aboard?
Come aboard.
Okay, we'll follow you. Good morning.
How are you?
Morning, sir. Permission to come aboard?
Where's the rest of your bag?
Some gentleman took it.
Okay, then they're probably going to be in the lounge also. They're going to ask you what you're doing.
Okay. Good. Smile.
Good morning.
Perfect. Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Seen your son yet? Excuse me. Boy, the ship is rocking. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Great. Happy days to you. You see that picture over the wall?
Yeah, I already got that.
Yeah.
How you doing, Dad?
Today's not like that.
We're right on target.
They just told me.
Almost 6:40. We've already had within a day's work. Carried luggage, had breakfast twice. Nino's been using up the thing like crazy.
Anyway, swab the decks, throwing all the trash over the fantail.
Well, here we are. We're in the dining room.
These guys are walking around leisurely.
And we just had breakfast. And we met quite a few of the folks who'll be traveling together. And so, we'll have the person on the regular Navy flyers and so forth on his board. One of us will be the guest. And we'll come to board then. Nino's taking pictures like crazy, so we'll be able to see it again. Okay? Talk to you later. Ciao.
Everybody, thanks, Danny. I think you'll have a good time with us at sea here, and I encourage you to get out and stop and ask sailors what they're doing, and they'll be glad to tell you. This is, I'll tell everybody every day I spend at sea out here, I feel about a day younger, and I think you'll feel the same thing, except maybe going up and down all those ladders that we have to endure. There's some, I think there's some press people here, and I'll see you later, and we'll chat with you. And I think we're going to have a plan so that everybody gets to cycle through the flag mess, and I'll spend a little bit of time with you, and we can ask them questions if you have any questions of me. Well, I guess I should tell you who I am. I'm Luke Crenshaw, the commander of the JFK Battle Group. And so haven't been here very long. I actually had command of the battle group for about 7 weeks now. So I'm a new guy too, so I may not have all the answers that you want to know, but I'm an A6 bombardier navigator by trade, and now that my airplane is gone, there's no more flying. They put me here in this job to occupy my time. So this is a great ship, and we have great men and women manning it for you. And I'd like for you to remember as you go around and you see all these great sailors working so hard down in the 140-degree temperatures of the engine room or the 32-degree temperatures up in CDC, remember that all these men and women are volunteers. Nobody made them come into the Navy, and they're here because they had a desire to serve the country, not for just a couple of days, but they're here for years. And so I'd ask you, when you see them, let them know that you appreciate the fine job that they're doing and all the hard work that they're doing, because I'm not sure they hear that enough. And I think once you grab one of them and ask them what they do, you'll be surprised to find out just how important a job a young 19-year-old or 20-year-old sailor is doing on this ship. And so I'm very proud of what they do, and I'm very concerned to make sure that we do what we can to keep these great Americans, these volunteers, here in the Navy, and not wander off in the Army or Air Force or one of those. Marines, okay.
Easy now, easy.
So anyway, welcome aboard, and I look forward to having a little bit of time to chat with each and every one of you as you come up through the flag mess as we go. And I think you'll really, when you come away from your visit here, I think you'll find out that your tax dollars are being well spent. We could sure use a few more to spend for you. So we'll talk about that when you come over and see. Okay, so have a great day. Thank you.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Y'all have your safety pamphlets?
Yes, sir.
Can you all hear me? Yes, sir. My name is Commander Steen. I'm the ship safety officer, and I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about safety with you all. One thing I'd like to stress is that there's only one person who's really responsible for your safety, and that's yourself. You're the only one that's with yourself 24 hours a day, and you're the only one that can really keep yourself safe. So we're going to give you some helpful hints on how to do that around the ship. We can do what we can to help you, but you're the one, if you keep that in mind. If you turn to this brochure on the very back page, there's a place at the bottom for you to put your sponsor's name, your sponsor's phone number, and any other information you want. This is yours to keep. We ask you to keep it with you. And then there's some phone numbers. 1-911, just think of 911. We have a 4-digit phone system in the ship, so it's 1-911 for emergencies. There's a phone number to my office. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always give us a call. Then I'd like you to open up to the middle, and we'll start on the top left and just keep going. General quarters. We always think of general quarters, or I do anyway, in a World War II film. John Wayne, general quarters, sailors running about a ship to fight the ship and save the ship. Well, this could also happen in peacetime when we're transiting. We could have a fire on the ship, that's possible. We could have a couple other things happen where we would have to go to our battle stations to make sure that we saved the ship and kept everything safe. So if you hear that, your sponsor will take you to where you need to go, probably the hangar bay area, just to keep you safe. There's really no action on your part. And a very few of these things are you going to be required to do anything, if at all. It's going to be a rare event if you do have an emergency, but we want to have procedures in place. And your procedure is pretty much to stay with your sponsor if anything happens. EEBDs, an emergency egress. At your berthing area or the place where you sleep, there'll be a little red canister. Inside that is an emergency breathing device in case there's a fire and your compartment fills up with smoke. When we're at sea, there's no dry land, so a fire at sea is one of the more serious things that we can have. And if your compartment fills up with smoke, that's a real emergency. Your sponsor will show you, give you directions on how to use that device in the absolute rare event that you have to use it. I've been on carriers for 5 years. I've never had to use it. Have you learned? The chance or the opportunity to wear one is very rare. It's not going to happen, but we have to tell you. Your sponsor will show you where it is and how to use it if you have to use it. Top of the middle page, medical alert, man down. We have procedures. If someone gets hurt, to take care of them. We call medical, 1911. They will come and respond. What we ask you to do, if you see someone laying down, is to yell. Someone will be at your side, make phone calls, and so forth. And again, the chance that you'll actually have to do something is rare. You never should be out of eyesight of any you should never find yourself alone on the ship. If you are absolutely alone, you've gone somewhere you shouldn't go. All right? So stay with your group, stay with your sponsor, and they will take you to where you need to go. Man overboard. We'll do a man overboard drill, and in the rare event that someone actually falls off the ship, we have to go through a man overboard procedure. And that means all 3,000 or 4,000 of us, however many there are, have to be accounted for by sight. Someone has to see you, and then they check your name off, and they know that you are not the one that fell over. Sometimes a sailor can see what he thinks is a man falling overboard. So what we have to do is we do a man overboard drill or procedure. If we
me to inject what our procedure will be for that, your escorts will muster you and give a call to the PAO's office. So we're not going to have to scatter. We're not going to have to go anywhere. But we will have to get a muster from your escort. So that's how we're going to handle that in case you were wondering.
Okay. Y'all clear now? Your spot, you have to put it in this plastic trash can. What we do is we take that bag and we throw it in this processor, and the end result is this 12-inch diameter hockey puck. It's huge. And then we stack them up, and when we get to shore, we offload them and give them to a shore waste disposal processor, and they take care of it. We don't throw anything over the side. We don't throw plastics in the water at all. It's prohibited by law. The same thing.
Media representatives to muster with Lieutenant Hernandez, right over here, Danny Hernandez. And after that, I'll go through the groups.
See you around.
Good luck to you.
These are our catapults right here. We have 2 catapults. And you all begin a tour of this within the next couple of days. We'll have the people that actually the experts that work out here. They'll come up here and bring you up here and explain everything to you. But while we're up here, just show you a couple of the catapults right here. The ship has 4 catapults. Got these 2 here, 2 back midship. No. At this point of view, you get here.
Yeah, they're expanding it now.
They're a long
Father and son. Another 30 million.
Father and son. Gotcha.
Just explain some things right there. That's sort of what's the island here. This is where they drive the ship from. That's where the radars. And I'm proud to say I own the radars that go around and around. You're the radar. I'm the radar maintenance. My guys maintain the radars.
I suppose you have the latest technical things.
Well, you know, there are some radars on the Aegis which are phased radars, which are more advanced than ours.
The original final radar, which we'll explain when we get down there, but it's amazing. Where you went on that ship, you see all this highly technical stuff, and then we're over here and we're still using.
Now, do they need as many personnel aboard as you need here because they've got a lot of?
No, it would be approximately the same crew. I mean, it's a nuclear carrier, so it's a little bit different.
Oh, it is nuclear.
Yes. So the complement of the crew is a little bit different. But we're a conventional carrier. We've got the. You can't see it from here, but when I take you guys up to the O10 sometime during your stay here, we'll go up there, maybe have a couple cigars or something. We'll be able to see the stacks up there.
How you doing, Frank?
Mike was telling me this is one of the last of the steam-powered carriers. This one here, this in the Eisenhower, or was, no, the
it's the is it the Connie? I don't know if it's the Connie or not. There's only 2 of us left. I can't remember what the it's a West Coast.
Steam catapult?
No,
Kitty
they all
Hawk?
have steam catapults.
Oh, they all
Maybe this is a Kitty Hawk. But there's only a couple.
On the flight deck. Attention to port. Attention to port. Hand salute.
In March, and we got rid of all of our aircraft then, so we don't have any aircraft attached to the ship now, except for our helicopters.
What is the number of aircraft that you would normally carry?
It really depends, and back in the 80s, of course, we carried more than we do now, but anywhere between 60 and 75 aircraft. I think we have 7 squadrons on board.
Holy cow!
Well, the big ones are the
amount of fuel you've got to carry to feed all of those things.
Oh, it's amazing. We'll burn through, I think it's 1 million gallons a day just to propel the ship. 1 million gallons a day to move the ship through the water.
That's why we need Newport. 1 million gallons.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm sorry. Is that the replacement for the old navy blue jeans? The blue.
The coveralls?
Yeah.
The coveralls are for the submariners, for the submarines. That's their standard uniform. It has been for years. They all wear those blue coveralls. And they just started putting that on the surface ship. And that's now, within the last year, become our underway uniform. So when we pull out to sea or on board during the day, we wear that uniform right there.
That's the work suit with that. That's in place of the old
dungarees. No, now the dungarees are still in service, and they have to wear the dungarees when they leave the ship. Okay. But on board the ship, they can wear the coveralls. Aircraft are hitting every 90 seconds, then we get yelled. I get yelled at.
Now the skipper is the man who
on me.
decides all this.
He monitors it all. He sits up there in the bridge and he monitors all flight operations. Anytime we're flying, he's sitting in that chair. And he'll monitor it basically for safety reasons and if anything happens or if he has to make a call. Now the ones actually running the show, who are making the calls are myself and the air boss. As far now at nighttime, I am full control over all the aircraft that cross this deck. Every single one of them come through me. And then once they hit the deck at night, then they're switched over to the boss. The boss, they're his control. And he moves them around the flight.
Night is more
nighttime
difficult,
or
isn't it?
rain. Much more difficult. Now during the daytime, a nice day like this, all the aircraft that go airborne will be under his control. until they get 10 miles away from the ship, and then they're off under somebody else's control. But usually we don't talk too much.
You have a lot of responsibility then.
I don't get paid enough either.
How do you talk to him?
Yeah, but listen, Chief, you get 3 slops and a flop.
Hey, Mike, are those
That's why I came in the Navy.
are those cruise missiles?
Excuse me?
How are you communicating with them?
When we go down to Catsy, which we're going to go down there here in about 15 minutes, I'll show you all that. We have all our communications down there, and we all wear headsets, and we're in a really dark room with blue lights, and it's pretty cool down there. So I of course, feel it's the most interesting part of the ship, but we're going to see all that here in a few minutes.
Mike, are those cruise missiles?
That would be your Sea Sparrows.
Is it a missile?
It is a missile. The
Yeah.
missiles are in there. It's part of our ship's defense system.
Yeah.
They have different defenses on board. They also have something called the Sea Whiz.
Yeah.
That's basically a big Gatling gun.
But you do have cruise missiles? Is that pretty standard in most of the ships?
Pretty standard.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Oh, we're just going to pull this hose if you would.
Chief Madonna is the Catsy Chief.
You might want to tell us what Catsy means.
Okay.
Carrier. You know better than I do.
Catsy's a carrier air traffic control center. And it has 3 branches, Air Ops being one of them, CCA, which is Carrier Controlled Approach, is the other one, and the third one is ATO, Air Transfer Office, or Air Transportation Office. Sir, would you like to give the brief for Air Ops?
Certainly.
This is Lieutenant Jim Partica. He's my division officer. He's Air Ops Watch Officer.
Well, good morning. Welcome to John F. Kennedy.
Morning.
Air operations primarily is Strike Ops develops the plan, the air plan for the day. And what we basically do is once they write the air plan, and that typically gets out late at night, and we'll get the air plan in the morning, and we'll have all the events, all the airplanes that will go and fly a mission will be accountable for when they launch, if there's an airplane change, airborne aircraft, and ensuring that they land back at the carrier, or if they go to a airfield because they diverted for whatever reason, we will be responsible for tracking and ensuring their safety. And so what we basically do, we work off an airplane, and they call an event. And we're putting up some mock boards up on the board here for you, just so you can kind of see. This would be a typical launch board where you'll have an event number, a mission. In this case, the first line for 100 is carrier qualifications, and the pilot is Welch, and it shows the time that he departed, and in the profile will show that he's airborne. And we'll track his fuel state, ensuring that he has plenty enough fuel to make it back to the carrier safely, and if not, send him to a tanker. Typically we'll have 2 or 3 S3 Vikings overhead available for gas, and if he has an emergency, part of our responsibility is the tracking and assisting with emergency. The bleachers here, during nighttime operations or during bad weather days, we'll have some of the senior squadron representatives sit here, and they basically just sit there and wait for something bad to happen. A pilot has a problem in the air, and they'll, if they get a call, they'll sit down on one of the red phones and talk to the pilot directly, find out exactly what the problem is, what's the best course of action to get the aircraft back down safely. Sometimes it's better to land the aircraft right away. If it's a situation where it can wait, maybe the best situation is to have them land last after all the other aircraft, so that they don't foul the deck and then cause problems to other aircraft. And all that decision making happens in here. We work with the tower upstairs, and we talk directly to the captain's chair, and we keep everybody informed of all the information and how things are going through the course of the day. And sometimes it's very easy, and other days it gets very intense in here. Today all we have is heel operations going on, so it'll be a very easy day for us. We get to CQs, we get to cyclic ops when we're out in the Gulf. We would sometimes launch up to 35 airplanes for a 2-hour event, and when they come back we'll have 35 aircraft to land, and that gets pretty tense at times.
You see big purple pipes running
They
in the
actually
overhead?
store all that fuel right next to the bombs.
Oh,
It's right. It's going to go. It should all go at
Go one
once.
time.
That's
Make
right,
it easy.
exactly.
We have any other questions? Any questions, Rob?
Wonderful. Well,
Great
enjoy
job.
your
Thank you much.
stay here on John F. Kennedy.
Move back to the area back here where the scopes are.
Okay, we'll take some time.
How much is that? Oh, we're supposed to wait just 11.
Well, we can take some time and take a break.
Yeah, we'll break.
We still need to find a room for lunches.
Yeah.
Cameras. Right.
Yeah. So what I'll do is after this, just let you know.
Okay, that'll work. Good.
Yeah, I'll have you over.
All right. Let's see. Go ahead and grab a seat.
Go ahead.
You can slide that out. There you go.
Don't press any buttons, Ash.
Okay.
Don't press any buttons.
Don't touch anything.
All right, great. We can set the misses off from right here. This is CCA, Carrier Controlled Approach. It's the second of the three branches I was talking about earlier that make up air operations. This is where all the controllers hang out. This is where we do our business. We basically work, I'm not sure I'm about to ask a question. We basically work at night or when it's raining. Is when we do all our really heavy work. It's called Case 3. It's where we have all of our bodies, all of our controllers to be manned up in the spaces during those times. Now during the day, during good weather, what we call Case 1, we usually have a minimum crew that'll be up here just monitoring any type of flight ops that are going on. It's called advisory control. What we usually do is during the day, nice weather, aircraft will come in, and we'll just give them basic information as far as ship's weather, what the current BRC is, the base recovery course, which way the ship's going. And then we'll monitor them on their way inbound to the ship to make sure we can deconflict any traffic problems. And then when they get close enough to the ship, we'll give them to the air boss. And the air boss will talk to them and bring them down to land. That's during the day, advisory control. Now, during night, or during bad weather, which we call Case 3, every position is manned up, and we do positive radar control. So we talk to every aircraft, we tell them where to go and what to do. The room is broken down into different sections. Basically, if you look at the airplane, we have one here. The airplane is broken down into what we call events or cycles. Okay. If a launch takes off, goes out and does its mission, and comes back, that's one event or one cycle. And so during Case 3, what happened is the aircraft will launch off the departure. Departure control position is over here. They will launch and they will proceed out on different radials that are assigned to each squadron. Let's say like the E2s, they'll all go straight ahead, and if there's a couple of them that launch, they'll join out between 20 and 50 miles away from the ship, either do a turnover or go out and do their mission. Now each squadron, Hornets, Tomcats, EA6s, S3s, they'll all have their own departure radial that they'll take off at once they leave the ship. So what the departure controller does is monitor that departure fan, we call it, to make sure that the aircraft stay away from each other. They go out, they do their mission. When they come back, they all check into marshal control. Marshal controller sits over here, and what that person does basically is just corrals them all up and puts them into what we call a marshal stack. Tries to make some order out of chaos is what we do. Marshal stack, the first aircraft is holding 21 miles after the ship at 6,000 feet. And they'll hold in a left-hand 6-minute racetrack pattern. Now the second aircraft will hold at 22 miles, 7,000 feet in the same type of pattern. And then 23 miles, 8,000, 24 miles, 9,000, and it just goes up like a little stair, like a ladder. Typically, on deployment, you can have anywhere from 16 to 22 aircraft recoveries. During the workup cycle, prior to deployment, we usually only went around 10 to 12. While we were in the Persian Gulf, quite often we had 22 aircraft recoveries, which is a pretty large recovery. And the marshal controller will stack them up. And sometimes we get so many aircraft, or we have icing at different altitudes or different airspaces that we have to watch out for, that we may run 2 or 3 separate stacks at the same time. So instead of just one stack, we might have 2 or 3 of them. And what we'll do is we'll separate them by different radials. At a minimum, we need to have 30 degrees in between each Marshall stack, but generally we'll go more than that just for a buffer at safety. Now once we get all the aircraft situated, they're in Marshall, they're lined up and ready to roll, we'll give them what's called an EAT, an expected approach time. Now we'll calculate the expected approach time so that the first aircraft hits the deck at a prescribed time that the boss gives us. The boss will give us the ramp time, which is when his flight deck will be ready for the first aircraft to hit the deck. When he gives us the ramp time, we'll then calculate all the expected approach times for the aircraft out of Marshall. And we will push one aircraft from Marshall every minute to come down toward the deck. Now the first aircraft is going to hit the deck on the minute that the air boss wants. So if he gives us a ramp time of 05 or 5 minutes past the hour, the first aircraft is going to be there at time 05. And we accomplish that by adjusting his speed and through radar vectors and just basically slowing him down at a prescribed spot. And we call them slowing him down when we dirtying him up. They transition from 250 knots to basically 140 down to 110 knots, depending on what type of aircraft it is. So, once they start commencing out of Marshall, one by one he will hand off the aircraft to the approach controllers. The approach controllers sit down here in the pit. You have approach A and approach B. They'll pick up aircraft from 21 miles or from Marshall and then vector them to line them up with the final bearing. So while Marshall gathers up this big gag, the ship is in the middle of the scope. This is aft of the ship. The aircraft will come in this way. Now let's say this right here is Norfolk. This little mark right here on the scope is Norfolk. If that was the Marshall point, the aircraft would come from the point and then line themselves up on the final bearing. And once we have the aircraft lined on the final bearing, we'll hand them off to the final controllers. Now, where Marshall spoke to all 22 aircraft, Marshall Control will divide them up to the room, so only 11 aircraft will come from this side and 11 aircraft will go to that side. So we'll split them in half at that point. We have 2 different frequencies, and Marshall Control will go every other. And we try and do that. Sometimes we end up getting 2 in a row on one side or 3 in a row on the other side. We try and avoid that because it puts more workload on the controller. Once the approach controller has them lined up on final, they'll hand off to the final controller. The final controller takes the aircraft usually from inside of 8 miles down to 3/4 of a mile. Final controller uses what we call the Spin 46 PALS, Precision Approach Landing System. Now this system has several different modes of operation, going from fully automatic all the way down to just a verbal talk down. And that's what's interesting about this gear is that the computers here on board the ship can lock on to the computers on board the aircraft and automatically fly that aircraft all the way down to the deck and put it on the ground. Wow. Without the piloting, without any inputs from the pilot whatsoever.
Have you ever actually done that?
We do it all the time.
Really?
We do it all the time, and we use F-18 aircraft.
It's gotta be weird for the pilot. He just kind of sits there.
Well, that's the thing, because he's got to trust that this computer is going to do everything right. And I'm sure his hand is never too far away from the...
He can override it, though, right?
He can override it at any time. 5 pounds of foot pressure on the stick will break the lock between the computers.
Will it depend upon the weather condition as to whether or not this system will actually land the plane?
Most
IFR,
definitely.
VFR?
Most definitely. In heavy rain, the system doesn't really work all that well, unfortunately. The system is designed to provide that service to aircraft that are 1, in distress, or 2, the weather is so bad that they can't maintain, they can't fly it themselves. But unfortunately, the rain really interrupts the signals back and forth and doesn't work as well as they'd like it to. Now, this version of the 46 is actually the very first version that went out to the fleet. We own that one here. It's actually kind of old. They've had 2 updates since this came out. The Victor 3, or version 3, that's out on the newer ships, actually has a better success rate for Mode 1s in rougher weather. So,
how long has the system where the plane will land itself, computers locked, been in place?
That's been around for quite a while. The first system to do it was called the Spin 42. This is the 46. The first one was called the 42. The 42 was this monstrous piece of gear. It was 3 times the size of this piece of gear right here. It was the system that I trained on when I first came out to the ship. And it was none of the state-of-the-art, computer-generated, all the stuff that we have nowadays, which is on this piece of gear. It was all pulleys and wheels. And you had to spin dials and do all this stuff and punch these big buttons in order to get the gear to lock onto the aircraft. But actually, the system worked quite well. But it was more difficult to use, that's for sure.
A great PR film for the Navy was Top Gun. Mm-hmm. There's a scene in there where a pilot loses control mentally. Now, this system would have landed him without his assistance, right?
Well, in actuality, the pilot, if you put it in a real situation, was flying an F-14. And F-14s aren't certified.
To us.
I show him there. We gotta kill some time. Okay, this is what's called the ship's module test and repair facility. This, as you can see here, Pastor Chicken he's working on a circuit card right now. Now, what this enables us to do is fix our own circuit cards ourselves. And last year alone, by fixing our own cards, we saved over $1 million. Ship saved over $1 million. So what they do is they use this computer here. They'll hook up the circuit cards to this computer, and then they'll analyze the actual circuit card and look for any faults that may be in the card, then they'll replace the components. So you can see if we go to micro level, you can see we have a microscope that we use to do some detailed repairs to the circuit card. And you can see the gentleman. Okay. You can see here's a module he's working on right here, and this module is to one of our weapon systems, the NATO Sea Sparrow system, and he's analyzing his card as it is right now. And what happens is he'll go through this card, he'll look at the signals, and he has a memory of what this signal is supposed to be like, and it compares it and tells you if it's bad or good.
You're still running them through Great Lakes? Or, oh no, now they're down in Orlando, huh?
No, Orlando's closed.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I work in QA, so B2. This is number 1 retraction engine room. This is just mainly it's the control center for the hydraulics and everything that goes on with the catapults. Mainly what you got here, you got 3 hydraulic pumps, your main accumulator, the hydraulic fluid storage tank, retraction engine room, retraction engine. And what they do here is, this is where they monitor everything that basically goes on with the catapult. This is not the control room. Okay, the control room is over there. Pegas Hubbard is one of the control operators. It's his catapult, actually. I'm over here doing the audit. What they do here is they charge up the hydraulics. They monitor all the hydraulics and all the charging pressures on the catapult. This retraction engine right here, what this does is after the catapult is shot, you have a grab system. It has 4 cables on it, which are looped around a drum to the inside. You have 2 cables coming on, 2 cables going off. When the catapult is shot, the shuttle goes forward, which is what the aircraft is connected to. What this system does is, up top side, there's what we call a grab, which is actually what it does inside the catapult track. It advances, it goes down, it latches onto the shuttle, and it pulls it back to the battery position. That's basically all it does. That's about it. That's all that entire system right there does.
Explain to them how that thing slows down. It's water at the end, right?
Okay, you mean after the catapult shot?
Yeah.
Okay, up forward, we have a total water brake system. All it is we have 3,000 to 5,000 gallons of water in the tank, 2 pumps.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them up there.
Okay. Yeah, he's gonna take you guys up there, so he'll show you that. You won't be able to see much, but the water pumps inside the vortex, inside the cylinder. It's just a regular, straight cylinder. The spears, which are the catapult, this little shuttle you see sticking out of the deck up there. Okay, it's connected to 2 spears, which is inside the 18-inch cylinders. When they go forward, they go into the water brakes. The water brakes pumps up water. It goes through and it creates a vortex. We have a vane in the back, which breaks up the vortex while the water is spinning, which keeps the cylinder full, which we all know water cannot be compressed. So when the spears go forward, they're just like a pencil. They go inside the cylinder, and as this gets larger, then the less water can come out. So that's actually what stops the catapult when it's shot.
Is it noisy
In here, with all 3 pumps running, yes, it is. Very much so. So,
you got to pretty much be fully catwalk and know just about everything that happens in any phase of the launching sequence on this catapult or any catapult. That guy is like, this is the guy that's always in the hot seat. Something goes wrong anywhere, this is where everybody calls. Hey, what's going on? Basically, this right here is your setup stage. This is where we actually set up each individual stage that it takes to launch an aircraft off deck. The control guy will sit down here, and he's online also with the center deck operator and the shooter up on deck. Now the shooter's not online. We kind of use signals and hand signals and whatnot to figure out and to agree upon a right CSV setting, which is basically the opening rate of the launch valve to let you know how much steam you want at a predetermined time.
Depends on what the aircraft is.
Right. Depends if it's heavy, light, if it's got bombs on it, or if it's in a CQ mode, which is a real light aircraft. There's different settings for each aircraft. You have 14s, 18s, EA-6B, C2, E2. Any different aircraft will leave with either a higher steam opening rate or lower steam opening rate. But the guy here, basically what he does is you can see a bunch of malfunction lights, and when they retract the shuttle, he's gonna get a cat safe light. And then he's going to actually step it up. He's going to say, okay, we're ready to go to the next phase, which would be a first ready. And he'll contact with the guy that's up on deck that's actually seeing what's going on up on deck as far as how far they're moving into each individual phase, so to speak. He'll step it all the way up to final. Everything good to go. He'll hit final. That means he's got to make sure you got 520 steam. You got to make sure your water level, your temperature is absolutely in between the range. He's got a monitor here to make sure the aircraft gets hooked up properly. Make sure the CSV, they'll set it with this one. I confirm it down here with this one. And then once the aircraft is fired, I know the end speed, actually how fast actually it's not the aircraft, but how fast that shuttle is going down the deck. And I'll monitor that. If it's slow, I'll contact my maintenance officer, and he'll make a decision on whether to keep shooting. If it's fast, same thing. I have to go through the maintenance officer on basically anything.
What's the normal speed, average speed?
For a 14, it's probably about a 102. For 18, about a 145. Just different speed with different aircraft. I think it's 100.
Like 0 to 120 in a second and a half.
Right.
0 to 120 miles an hour in 1.5 seconds.
It's all run by steam. Like we have our launch valve, which actually the steam comes from the ship to our launch valve, and all this does is control the opening rate, how fast it's going to open, and let that shoot the spears down the track. But like the water brakes up forward, you say you got 140, 145 going straight down the track. Everything is stopped with water, like Pastor Thickpen was explaining. Everything stopped with water.
The question was asked, when you're monitoring everything here, would you give a go, no go? Do you have to push something to allow that thing to launch, or you're just observing?
All right, what I do is once we get to the final stage of the launch, I double check everything, constantly look around the room, make sure everything is set. And If I don't see something that I feel like is right, I'll abort the launch sequence.
Switch or by voice?
I do it by switch. If you'll cut the. Like we call it a catapult spin. That's just an abort of a launch. And I manually press it here, and then I got several different people online with me, and I let them know, hey, suspend catapult. That means everybody will start their abort sequence.
Question. You have all the proper gauges prior to launch, right? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Because once it's going out, it better be right.
Yes,
because
sir.
if it ain't right, he's going to go over.
Once the guy on deck hits that fire button, when he actually shoots that cat, there's no coming back.
What do you actually see on the screen? The aircraft itself?
It's a monitor camera up there, and what I look at down here is they show my topside guy that actually hooks up the aircraft and shows everything that he's doing upstairs. And what I do is I double check and I watch him as he does his, just to make sure that everything's in a proper way.
If he's doing something wrong, can you notify him right away? Put that hook over or whatever it is?
I will have to suspend out, and then I'll relay up to the guy up on deck, hey, this is the problem. It didn't look safe, and then normally we'll set it back up. He has the final say, basically, of whether that aircraft is on the deck is going to go or not. He makes that final decision right here. Once he hits his fire button, it's gone. There's nothing I can do or anybody else can do to stop it. But he's also up here watching these individual things, like a pair of eyes up here. He does his monitoring right here. He's watching pretty much the personnel, the hookup, everything right here. This is where he actually fires. But it's over, it's gone.
Alright. Who's Top Gun on ship? You got a Top Gun?
We're about to do a flight brief for an alert. We always send alerts all the time, just in case something happens on the ship, somebody falls overboard or whatever. We're the search and rescue platform where we go and save them. So all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every time we're out at sea, we have an alert. I'm about to brief the next crew who's coming on to take the alert over after these guys finish flying. What we have right now is this aircraft. Well, it's what we fly. It's a 65 strut helicopter. It's getting ready to get loaded up, and it's going to fly to the beach to drop off some people, and it's going to come back. All right, so we're gonna do the brief.
We're homeless people. Do we need to leave or?
Oh no. Okay, attention to brief. Air crews are out here. No changes in the flight schedule for you. I've got com cards, which I'll give to you if you launch. You have to book, and you have your flight cards. VIN numbers. You do not have an event number. Your aircraft is 611. This is 611 right now. They're spinning up here waiting for their run to the beach. When they get back, they're going to do a DTA on it, and you guys will have to pre-flight it, and you'll set it for the rest of the day.
Is that com card the same one that's been since the first time we used it?
It's a different com card, but there's no changes that I saw. It's not even a card, it's a piece of paper. Weather brief. Weather's looking fine. Scattered at 20,000 feet, 4 miles of viz, but it's actually, I'd say, more than that. Winds pretty much out of the north. Forecasted to remain the same. Possible cloudiness and some showers coming in later. But nothing really too major. No TAMs. TACAN, we've got 63 X-ray for the ship. Chambers Field, which is where they're going, is 48 X-ray. These are the freaks. It's all in the flips. Initialization information. This is slightly old, but if you launch, come back and I'll give you a current one. Like your requirements, the service temperature is 82 degrees, so no issue there. Make sure your stuff's in good shape. Wordage requirements should be 42 on the smokes to be SAR capable. Mission profile, you are alert 30 from when these guys land until tomorrow morning. So if we have a man overboard or if anything happens, just come up here. I'll give you a good brief. We'll give you good initialization information and all that stuff. No changes to the com card. Well, there's a new com card, but like I said, the power freak and all that are the same. I'll give it to you if you go just in case. Performance calculations are the responsibility of the hack. Sure, hit checks are performed. Yeah, you'll have to because they do DTA on it if you get a chance. If you get passengers, make sure to give them a brief. We have cameras. When you get back, make sure you fill out the paperwork and leave it with me. The kind of question of the day for pilots is NG limits. For air crew. For air crew, question of the day is how many knots of control do you have per hour? Okay. We do have an overnight. So I kind of manage everything, tell them which aircraft they're flying and stuff like that. And then now they're going to break up and do their own individual crew brief. Lieutenant Commander Buss here is the aircraft commander, so he's kind of in charge at this point of his own brief. So he's going to tell them what's going on now.
Morning, my name is Lieutenant Commander Buss. Just a little bit about this will be a relatively simple brief for us. Generally, if we're underway on the ship, we might be working with other air wing assets, other jets and so forth, and we might actually have to coordinate with them and do some important brief with them. This just basically tells us what we're doing. We're alert 30 from 11:30 until the next crew picks it up sometime tomorrow. And basically, anytime the ship's underway, we always have one helicopter at a minimum of alert 30. And generally that's for if we have a man overboard or if another ship nearby in the battle group has some type of medical emergency, we'll man up the helicopter and be the first person on the scene. The alert 30 is generally worst case scenario. Most of the time the helicopter, if there's no flight ops going on, the helicopter will actually be on one of the helicopter spots. The blades will be spread. It'll be pre-flighted, it'll be all ready to go. So basically, even if it's in the middle of the night and we're fast asleep, all we got to do is get dressed up, come through here, grab our gear, head up to the helicopter, and a good crew will get it airborne within 15 minutes. If there's a more risky evolution going on, sometimes when we do replenishments at sea and there's a lot of ship's personnel handling lines or on the deck or the weather's bad, we may even upgrade from alert 30 to what's called an alert 5, where we're actually strapped into the helicopter. We've already started it up once that day. All the systems are still energized, and all we've got to do is hit a couple buttons to start the engines, and off we go.
Those
or
numbers.
even in case of if there's say some type of real world threat out there, the jets might be ready to launch. They'll be sitting in the catapult, and we have to launch before the jets. So we'll be sitting in the aircraft, and the jets might be in alert 7. If they get radar indications of a hostile aircraft coming in, They launch us, they launch the jets and point them out in the direction of the hostile threat. And so that's the other reason we have to read.
You say those numbers that he's saying, like alert 30, alert 15, those indicate the number of minutes that you have. Like on alert 30, you have to go from a dead sleep or whatever to actually airborne within a 30-minute time frame. They're on alert 15 right now, which means that 15 minutes from when we get the call, they'll be in the air. And like you were saying, that's a maximum. Usually we're airborne quicker than that, but that's what that means. So he's going to do the flight.
So basically, we've got a guide here that talks all the way through the brief, depending what missions we're doing. If it's a very complicated mission, we could spend up to an hour. But since this is sort of a routine evolution course, and we brief it a lot of times, we'll cut it down to be about a 5-minute brief. Okay, the aircraft is 611. It's trucked out, so we've got probably seats 4 or so. Dragon Slayer 611. Current weather's looking good. Forecast remain good. No TAMs, should be NA unless we're going to any type of airfield, in which case we'll get a brief on that and go through the charts before we go. Flight gear requirements, make sure the person we have everything to go after we get done flying today. We'll go out and take a look at the aircraft, pre-flight it, take a look at the interior, make sure we have all the gear there.
Or cable into the water, and we can ping active sonar and wait for an echo. When we get an echo, that's something that's echoing off, probably a submarine. We can track it sitting there in a hover, wait till it comes into our little bullseye, and boop, drop a torpedo on it. We're more of an attack platform than a big open ocean search. Like, we wouldn't go out there and search the whole ocean for a submarine, but if we had good intelligence or some other platform who is better suited for large area searches, got good information about where a submarine is located, we would go out there, use our different sonars to localize them and attack them. The other version of the aircraft, the Hotel, the HH-60, is a combat search and rescue primarily, which is like, I'm sure you all remember when Scott O'Grady was shot down over Bosnia and the helicopter rescue went in and got him and everything. That's sort of like what we do. That was Marines. We have a slightly different concept. They go in with huge overwhelming force and take over a piece of land. They had like, I don't know how many helicopters. They sent in like 7 helicopters, attack helicopters, jets in the air and all this stuff. We do more of a sneaky approach. We usually will go in at night wearing night vision goggles. We'll sneak in, we'll find the person, hopefully, and then we'll sneak back out. We do carry machine guns on both doors so that the guys who sit in the back, who alternative to you guys in it, I got Chaos Brown back there is one of them, can shoot and return or suppress fire if we start taking shots. And it's also capable of carrying the Hellfire missile, which is really copied from the Army. It's an anti-tank missile. They use it to go hunt tanks and artillery and stuff like that. We don't use it for that. We use it for, it's a self-defense for us. We don't go out specifically to hunt things. And also we use it for our ASUW, which is anti-surface warfare. We're the carrier's protection against small boats, like these little patrol boats and stuff that the Iraqis and Iranians have. We will go out and find them and if necessary, we'll shoot them with the Hellfire missile. More day-to-day type operations that we do, like you've seen here in search and rescue. We're the carrier search and rescue asset. Every time that anybody's flying off of this ship, we take off first, we stay airborne the whole time they're flying, they land, and then we land. Anytime a jet or another plane is flying, we're flying first and we're landing last. And the reason for that is the most dangerous part of flying around an aircraft carrier is actually the takeoff and landing. So if there's going to be an accident, more than likely it's going to be right here around the ship. So during the daytime, we have to stay within 10 miles of the ship. We basically do whatever we want, but we have to be within 10 miles of the ship. At night, that's brought down to 5 miles. And like I said, we're airborne all the time. We have had that happen where they've had accidents on landing or on takeoff, and we're just right there on top of it to pick up these guys. I'm a pilot. We fly with 2 pilots and usually 2 aircrew. They're called AWs. It stands for Air Warfare. They're multi-talented. One of the things they do is they're all rescue swimmers. They all go through a search and rescue school, actually jump into the water and save people. And we have done that. We saved 9 people in Hurricane Floyd. I don't know if you heard the news stories and stuff about that, but it was pretty big. There was a tugboat that went down. They launched into the hurricane, 50-foot seas, 50-knot winds, couldn't see anything, it was raining, and managed to find 3 guys holding onto a broomstick and another 5 guys in a life raft. Then when they finally, that took a long time to locate these people. They had to come back, refuel, go out again. They finally found these people, then landed again, and they said, oh, well, another ship has had an accident. Somebody has fallen down a ladder well and broken its back. So then we had to launch again and hover over this ship, which is pitching all up and down, whip antennas all around it and everything. and I lowered a rescue swimmer down with the rescue hook, and he put together a rescue litter, which is like basically a stretcher that you can assemble right there, strap the guy into it, and hoisted him up back into the helicopter. It'll hoist back up with that rescue hoist. That was kind of our shining moment right there. Also, the HH-60 does NSW, which is Naval Special Warfare, which is operations with like the Navy SEALs. When we were on cruise last time, we took over a Russian ship that was going in and out of Iraq, running oil illegally. We said, you can't do that. So we put a bunch of Navy SEALs in the back, flew out to it, fast roped them down onto the deck, and the Navy SEALs ran up with their guns and all this stuff and actually took over the ship. That was national news too. That had presidential attention. But normally what we do is kind of run-of-the-mill mundane stuff. We do plane guard, like I said, which is a preemptive search and rescue, flying around waiting for somebody. I don't say waiting for somebody to crash, but if they're there, if they crash, then we're going to be there on top of them. We also do stuff that we're doing right now with this guy that just took off, which is running people back and forth to different ships, to the beach, carrying parts and supplies. We do some of that. We're not really a cargo-type aircraft. We're more of a tactical aircraft.
Word from the commanding officer.
Well, we can't do that. Let's hear what this guy has to say.
Good morning, Big John. This is the captain speaking. I'd like to welcome our distinguished visitors that are aboard. We've got folks coming up from South Florida, from the New York area, of course, headed up to the International Naval Review in New York City. It's going to be a great time. We've got members from the White House staff, the Secret Service. I'd like to specifically welcome Colonel Gobar and the Marines of the Special Purpose Marine Air Ground Task Force 10. We're honored to have our Navy brotherhood together here with the Navy and Marine Corps represented on board John F. Kennedy for the INR 2000. We've got some midshipmen from several distinguished universities, including the United States Naval Academy, and media representing WNIS, the Weather Channel, Associated Press, Broadcasting and Cable. We're delighted to have you all aboard and let you see what we are so very proud of. The men and women of John F. Kennedy in operation. We won't do flight operations here for you other than the helicopter operations, which you saw this morning, and we'll see again as we bring DBs aboard in New York. I would add that I would encourage our guests to not hesitate, ask questions. We're very proud of what we do. I'm sure the crew will show you a good time because they are, after all, what is best and right about the Navy. To the crew, I can't thank you enough for the great job that you did in Port Norfolk. I know that there's still lots to do. We've got an underway replenishment tomorrow morning with the USS Seattle, and that is always a demanding evolution. I will ask that our escorts be careful with our guests so that we don't put them in harm's way. There's going to be a payback, though. It's going to be a great time in New York City, and the plans are shaping up nicely for us to be able to have a great naval review from the flight deck. I've got all kinds of folks re-enlisting with the President of the United States. It's going to be a great time. But as I looked out on the flight deck, I see everybody still working on the deck. We've still got lots of things to set up. I know that we still have a fair piece to go. We'll go through a dry run rehearsal on the 3rd of July once we get it moored in the Hudson. That in and of itself is a very hazardous evolution. I want to remind everybody that you are invited to bring your families and guests out to John F. Kennedy on the evening of the 4th. We're going to have a hot dog cookout here on board, and we're going to then go up to the flight deck and watch the fireworks. I'm told that we'll be in a great position to see the fireworks right over Lady Liberty. And if you have family and friends there in New York City, if you haven't gotten an invitation, please just bring it up to your LPO and your department head level, and we'll make sure that we print some more if we need some more. I'd be delighted to meet your families and friends here on the evening of the 4th of July. Finally, I'd like to give a special attaboy to engineering department last night. Of course, there's always a lot of challenges when we start lighting these boilers off. The folks down at 2 and 3 main especially, far too many names to list, but they worked exceptionally hard last night to make sure that we successfully got underway this morning. Oil Lab and the R Division, I will tell you, are the finest in the fleet. And if you see a snipe today and he's looking just a little bit tired, it's because they had a really, really late night. There was a lot of great work that went on. So my thanks to the engineering department for, once again, keeping the heart of John F. Kennedy beating strong. So it'll be a busy day today and tomorrow before we head up into the Hudson on the 2nd of July and get moored. I need you all to let me know if you're having problems. Pass it up the chain of command. We want to make sure we put on the absolute best show for the President of the United States, and I'm sure you will do just that. Thanks for your efforts to this date. We'll keep up the good work. That is all.
I can't really think. Right now I'm going to let our AWs give you a little talk about what they do. Like I said, they are rescue swimmers. They're also submarine hunters. They work the equipment for the sonar and everything in the back. They ride in the back. We fly them around. Sometimes I feel like we're just
as AWs, we went through 2 years of schooling, 8 different schools. Like Lieutenant People said, we do search and rescue swimmers, which are combat search and rescue crewmen for overland combat search and rescue in a hostile environment. Anti-submarine warfare operators. In fact, the United States is the only naval service where the anti-submarine warfare operators are listed.
The zone for zone
aerial,
inspection will be held at 1300. Muster recorders,
the M240, 7.62
inspectors at 1315.
Also the M60. Soon, hopefully, we'll get the Gal, which is a minigun, 6 barrels, better firepower. So we feel a little more comfortable with that in a hostile environment compared to what we had now. We also do a lot of work with SEALs, train a lot with them as far as insertion and extraction, different techniques, fast stroking them. That's what we did on the Vulcan definition. That was this past January. There's also different insertion techniques that we use with the SEALs. They can rappel out of our aircraft. They can jump out free fall parachute. We have also what's called a K-duck and a T-duck, which K-duck is using their rubber Zodiac boats. The K-duck, they can we hook the raft up itself, just one, to the bottom of the aircraft, and then we can come in low into a hover and we release the boat with our cargo hook, and then the SEALs jump out. The T-duck is a little more time consuming, and basically we inflate the raft outside of the cabin door and lower it down with the rescue hook, and lower down the motors and lower down the SEALs.
Tell us the equipment that you're wearing there.
Okay, some of the equipment I'm wearing, normally when I'm dressed out wet for plane guard,
this is for search and rescue.
Search and rescue. Any search and rescue mission, I wear a wetsuit. This is a shorty for warm weather. We also have long Farmer John wetsuits, long sleeves, hoods, gloves. Our whole body's covered except for just our face, and that's usually covered up with our mask. Mask and snorkel. Also have SAR-1 here, which I wear on top of my harness and my wetsuit. It's a little added buoyancy in case I need it. Normally, the wetsuit's plenty enough buoyancy, and we're all very good swimmers. I can use this for myself in case it gets a little rough out there, or if a survivor grabs onto me and tries to pull me down. I can inflate, pull CO2, and also manually inflate it using the mouthpiece. Or if the survivor doesn't have flotation, I can take it off and give it to him. Flotation.
Every time we fly a plane guard mission, which is the one where we are just out there circling for takeoffs and landings, one of these guys is dressed out in all the stuff. They wear the wetsuit underneath their flight suits. You can imagine in the summer in the Persian Gulf wearing a wetsuit underneath this, which is already not that comfortable to begin with. It's not that easy. So these guys have a really tough job, and they do it really well. And like I said, they have, just in the past year, we've saved 9 people, and we've actually 11 people this year. So they do a really good job. have a hospital on board, yes, sir?
When you decide whether to take them into shore or rescue the person.
These two officers.
John Killer, this is 5 Single call sign Juliet 4 India. Going to be entering the alligator. It's going to assume line assignment 16. Over.
This guy here is still here, and he's managing the link picture, which is linking all the ships together. I think they're. Are you guys doing an HF link?
Yes, sir.
HF? HF. Remember weapon pads we seen on the down? Yeah. Over on HF weapon pads. And he's right now communicating with the ships. First off, we do it. It's electronic, it's automatic. We update their positions and all their contacts, and it gets fed into a computer and it gets displayed on his display. What he does is, as a link coordinator, you're playing link coordinator, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He's basically managing the picture up there. And if somebody's dual reporting, like this guy's reporting, this guy's reporting, he'll correlate the contacts and make it one. Okay.
This is surface craft.
Surface and air. Okay. These guys here are doing airship. Right. He's coordinating both the surface and air.
Now, when these guys get something on the screen, do they swap them or what?
Well, there's IFF. Most of the contacts will swap. I'm sorry, Mode 2 IFF. And also give them the altitude of the contact. And then they can identify the contact as such.
Today, they'll be contacting the military.
There's commercial. I'm sure there's a bunch of commercial aircraft out there, right?
They just want to see what's there.
Yeah, everything. Everything. They got them out there.
Is it also to avoid green stations?
That's not the
Commercial airlines flying up and down this
These guys are interesting.
How do you know it's commercial?
All right, thanks, guys. So what'll happen is we'll be doing fly-offs in the carry one, and then when we recover, and they'll start fly-offs. So we'll cycle through like that. But it's all coordinated through NavCent.
Logistics is incredible. It's just moving information. I mean, that.
It really is.
I guess the whole thing just changed. I remember you listened to some of the History Channel and what happened in let's say the Second War as an example, where they had to look for the Japanese fleet with scout planes. The whole game plan has changed. The whole strategy has changed with technology.
Well, just the satellites.
Sure.
We don't have any SW capability on the ship looking for submarines.
Right.
Because we rely on national sensors and satellites. We know when the submarines go underway, and then we're okay. There's a submarine underway, and we keep looking for it. But we're on the ship. We don't send S3s out to look for submarines anymore. And it's just because of the technology. It's just, we look for satellites and we look for where they're at. If they're out of port, and look from there. We know roughly where they're going.
Does the other side have the same information?
I mean, satellites?
No. I mean, if we were doing still, let's say, heavy and Cold War, would the Russians have the same information about us? That likely.
I know they've got older satellite technology, but they do have the capability of knowing where we're at. But our command and control and our systems, Bob probably told you about CEC, which is basically a command and control system, which links all the same information about every ship, which is revolutionary. It's going to change everything. For example, I could fire missiles off of a cruiser here in combat. Aren't even part of my ship. I have the capability of firing his missiles at a target that I hold on my radar that he doesn't hold.
To make any difference how far away he is from you?
Well, that's the only limitation is we're uniformed, UHF line of sight. But they have these systems now on aircraft, and they go up at 20,000 feet, and your range is now effectively 200 miles. So, and then they could just do relays, and then everybody's tied in with this link. It's we've got so many link systems, and I think that's where we focus a lot of our money and our resources in command and control. So we have
we have a lot of like our combat systems are all geared at getting information to me and then giving it to every other ship out in the sea. So we use Link 11, which is a 1950s technology. We still use that, and then Link 16, which is a little bit better, probably 70s, and then and now CDC, which is 90s. So this combat system is already 15 years old.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I mean, before the Navy gets it, op tests it, all the procurement and that they go through with the Navy, it takes about at least 10 or 12 years to at least see it in the fleet. So this system is actually over a decade old, and we're one of two carriers who get it. It's the most modern system we have. So
now the members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they advise the President. He's going to go and talk to the foreign government to negotiate something. He can be hard-nosed knowing that you folks can do certain things here, and that the other guys don't know that you know how to do it. Is that not the way it works?
I guess. I'm not really a politician, but I would think, yeah.
Is that a decent scenario of
negotiate from strength, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's our job. Our job is to project power. We put a carrier out in the Persian Gulf, and we're out there. We're loud. Everybody knows we're there. It's no secret, and that has been successful. I mean, Iran or Iraq have not been at war. We've managed to keep some stability in that area. So that's pretty much what we're paying for.
It's expensive off the ship. This is really patchet. And this is a very important place for the chief here because he can't talk to aircraft unless they do their job.
Which means every time we pull out, I'm over here saying, "Why is this messed up?"
115, right? Oh, you should probably take pictures of this.
Oh, no? War. W-A-R.
W-A-R. War. But, are you working on this? This is your equipment?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a new system we got. It's called the wall. Video wall. And it's got a lot of capabilities. I'm sure you're doing something with it, but you can see you got a picture. This does the VTC from like the admiral sitting here and wants to talk to other ships, video-wise. He can do that. Also, he can bring up CNN, right?
What's the stock market doing today?
There's some
but the golf game is pretty good.
Golf game. You can get to go over the whole screen. One screen with the whole right. We're seeing that screen in the other room.
What's the purpose of the curtain?
This guy he's the one that operates it. He closes this area here.
Like the Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, yeah. There we go. It's full screen there.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of, is it slow? It's slower than you actually need.
Yeah, it is. Well,
This is a...
Hey, Dad, why don't you wave, Dad?
This is a DCC through telecom.
Where are you, Dad?
Yeah, we're here. So it's
There you are.
real time.
There I am. Who's that guy?
That's kind of stretching the point.
So if you're in the middle of a situation, Lieutenant, this is where the boss would be sitting?
The admiral. Right.
Yeah.
All the shots. This is where he gets his daily briefing.
Yeah.
What's the situation? What's going on?
Huh.
Exactly.
I can see that.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
That gives you...
Came in all the way up back of that. This is the navigation picture. Or not? Sorry, let me get right.
Includes windows too?
Everything. At nighttime they have like red lights and
We dim everything down.
Darker the better.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's easier for us to see, and then the other ships when they look at us, they don't see white lights or disregard them.
He's standing the bridge.
He's the qualified officer of the decks. You can have engineers that are qualified officer of the decks, strike ops, our navigator.
She was obviously qualified in last year.
I'm working towards qualification on the carrier. A little different.
Second in.
6 years. We've got.
They stand up. They still stand. Why do I think they sit down?
No, on the smaller ships, they sit now. They actually sit.
Well, last one I was on, they didn't. But,
We had a thick. And there's all those tight stations. But the size here is
Never know when they're going to attack New York. They better keep it in shape. They better not attack New York. New York is a better arm.
Steamship, we give the bells, and down in the engineering
Sure,
department,
same thing.
they answer them back.
Yeah, all right. I feel more comfortable with that. I don't know.
They throw in the coal and
the coal too, huh? Right. The real farming, right? The real farming.
This is the lee hull. This is where they order up the engine bells.
yeah, we can cross-section.
We got the weather shack.
Much better. All the concerts we have down there. It's pretty neat.
Now they throw water up in the air to see which direction.
We just put our finger up, you know.
Yeah.
Coming from a skier concert.
They pour water on their finger instead of licking it.
Being a weatherman, or
Oh, they try.
there you go. There you go. The one thing they taught me when I got out of school is no matter how long after school, you'll always remember clouds, estimating heights. My daughter's the last one.
So did your mother. That's really steering the ship? On the new cruise lines, they just use a little toggle switch.
Yeah. How many was it? Nah, I'm going to pass on that if you don't mind, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Very well.
Go look at those. I almost guarantee you'll find there's one there with invitations to the commanding officers. Sir.
Could be a fishing boat.
You got a movie camera going?
Yeah.
I got it.
You see that? That's pretty good, wasn't it?
I got it.
Next time the guy in the bottom, here comes the guy in the top. Gives him a hard time.
They're pretty motivated. We can't. We tried to do that to our sailors. They'd throw a revolt.
Well, he's got to get ready.
Throw up after the first line.
Well, you never know. You might have to attack New York City.
Well, this, I tell you what, this ship right here would take care of New York City in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's
New
New York City, oh, it's the same.
I don't know about that, guys. New York City's awfully big.
All right, we're at Signal Bridge?
Yep, we're heading to Signal Bridge. We actually climbed the mast, okay? Oh, really? But with the radars rotating and radiating, it's a radiation hazard. You get the ladder up here. Yeah, we climb up right up that ladder, right up the top.
Where are we now?
This right here is the O10 level.
What does that mean?
10 decks up off the main deck.
Okay, what do they do up here?
This is a signal bridge. This is where you can see here's a flashing light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right over here, they got the high-powered. You want to take a look? He sees water. Sure do. He sees water.
So the computer stopped working. You start using these things, huh?
Yeah. Well, these are for visual. The way you can tell the difference, the big way you can tell the difference, the F-14, their wings sweep back and fold back. The S-18, they go off like this. This is a two-seater, that's the one-seater. The swept back is for, the launch you'll have all the way up. Yeah. Okay, on like this, they'll launch. And once they get launched, they get going, they'll sweep them back.
They can see us pretty much as far as to the horizon over there, which is like 12 nautical miles out. All it is a big light, big searchlight. And we flash, talk with this. Every motion here is a letter, number, and we use that to talk with, and we pause. When here we pause to indicate that we're finished with the next word, to go on to the next word or the next letter. Over here, this is our flag bag. This is where we have all of our flags, letters, the numbers, the absentee pins for the captain, the chief of staff, and all of our other special letters and numbers.
How about Commander-in-Chief, President of the United States?
We have a special flag for him. It wouldn't be in here, though, because this gets dirty, worn out,
But you'll put him up there when he gets on board, is that correct? You'll raise that flag when he's on board?
Yes, sir. Now, we'll raise that flag when he's not on board, meaning that he's here, but he's not on board. That's okay. So we take a flag out, then we'll connect it to here, then we'll hoist it up all the way to the
What's the most important thing when you put it up there? What's the most important thing?
Now we secure this radar right here.
Yes, yes, yes.
We cannot use this port side without the radar. radar being secured.
How many times have we not done that in the past year?
See, what happens is if this gets wrapped up,
We don't do it anymore now because there's a sign here.
Oh, the radar gets close and it grabs it.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, that's an expensive problem, isn't it, guys?
So you got communications direct from here down to your job to put on the radar or what?
Thank you.
I don't know. I guess this next.
What's that?
They take care of.
What does that do?
That shoots, what is it, a 50 cal? It's a 50 or 20 millimeter. I think maybe it's a 20 millimeter.
6,000 rounds a minute?
I don't know if it's 6 or 3. I wish I had the stats on that.
Where's your magazine at for your ammo?
Right here.
That's 20 millimeter?
Ammo when it's not in the gun. The bottom drum round area is where we're storing.
And what's the maximum rounds you can keep in there?
Inside the gun is about 1,500.
1,500, and that's good for like about 30-second burst, right?
Right about that. If we get a straight continuous run.
What's the, what kind of a target is he looking for?
It looks at anything that's an inbound threat to the ship, sir. Whether it be a missile, an aircraft. If it meets the criteria that's in our computer program, the system deems it as a threat.
The maximum elevation?
Pardon?
What maximum elevation?
Can't tell you that right now, sir.
Okay.
How about range?
How many can you shoot before the barrel starts to droop?
Until we empty the gun.
Is that right?
What's the range?
Range, it's roughly over 2 nautical miles.
Wow. And how long? How far?
2 nautical miles.
How long does it take to get out there?
Rounds?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'd have to pull the tech manual to tell you that.
What's that?
He doesn't know.
What's the budget?
2 miles.
How long it takes the bullet or whatever you call it to get out trajectory to get out 2 miles?
This thing is an automatic system.
Will you shoot this?
Yes, sir.
Gun it? Have they got you painting it too?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go talk to the captain right now. I'm an admiral's grandson. There's no way I want a guy who shoots that gun to paint. Now you come up right now, Sam.
50 laps around the ship.
This radar, the CWIS system here is an automatic system. They'll put it in automatic. If there's an aircraft that comes in that threatens the ship and it meets all the criteria, which is a low flyer, it's got a closing rate or whatever, it will shoot itself.
Automatically.
When you set it to automatic.
That's
Missiles, yeah, and aircraft. Exactly.
Anything that's going to threaten the ship.
This would be great against the kamikazes.
We're going to get you off this.
That's about the size of the projectile we shoot out of the
So
sky.
depleted uranium, right?
Yes, sir, or tungsten. Yeah, very severe heavy metal.
It doesn't leave
That can
much
make
of a
some
target
damage,
left.
huh?
Pardon? It doesn't leave much of a target.
Drum roll or shooting. Let's see that, Nino.
Let's see that. Here, for the camera, Dad. Show me the. Wow.
That's
See how heavy that is.
caliber.
Whoa.
The 20 millimeter. Well, that's both Earlicon.
Mark, can you speak the language? Suffolk fishing out there a lot.
At least you're talking.
How you doing, sir?
We got somebody from Middle Village.
Middle Village.
Middle Island?
Yeah, the white, the guy with the white, what was his name? Ruggiero.
Oh.
Comes from Center Ridge, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. He's in a group. If you see a little stumpy guy, not as good looking as me.
Kind of trailing along?
He's got a JFK hat. He's got a white T-shirt. Not as good looking as me.
Ah, okay. I grabbed somebody from the
There
Texas road.
you go.
What language does he speak?
He is Sufferese, yeah.
What do you do? What do you do here? What is this all? What,
This is Crash and Salvage. We're kind of the flight deck fire department. That's what we do. If aircraft come in, we have to know the intricacies of all the way to get the pilots out. We have to know how to safety the seats, look out for weapon systems, how to shut the aircraft down.
Right.
We have to egress out windows. We have to take doors off, canopies off, things of that nature, and get the pilot out as fast as possible to save his life. That's what our main mission is, to pull the pilot out no matter what kind of structural integrity the aircraft has. We go in and get him in. Doesn't matter. If it's on fire, if it's getting ready to catch on fire and blow up, we go in.
Only if it's on the deck. If it goes overboard, somebody else
If it goes over the board, we do what's called a
You dive in
water
after.
salvage
You
operation.
dive in after.
And that gets a little bit thick. Myself, the crash post, and we'd have another individual. Also, our corpsman would go out, as well as a coxswain, and also a person to drive the boat, and HM, the head surgeon would also go out there with us. We go out there, we do what we could, and see if there's anything floating. And if there's not, then we just kind of mark the spot, and then everybody else comes in with the grasp and have to go in the water and get him. But we do what we could. But after that, then what we do is we secure the aircraft from any kind of boron tungsten fibers or composite material. We glue that up with wax and water, and then we do what's called a salvage operation, and that is we hold the aircraft as tight as possible with these cargo straps here. Also with these slings right here, we have a sling for each type of aircraft we carry on board. So this way it doesn't do any other further damage to the aircraft. This way, if there is such if there's an investigation going on to find out exactly what happened to the aircraft, they can retrieve all the evidence they need to find out what exactly happened to that aircraft without us causing more damage to it. And that's the key. So these guys are really strictly trained. They go through a 6-week course, which is a C school, which is a crash and salvage course. We go through a team training, which is a 3-week course in Pensacola, which is real in-depth on just rigging slings. The instructors just let us have this compound that looks just like a flight deck aircraft carrier. And we go in with cranes and rigs just like this right here with the weaves and the cables and things of that nature. We go in, all we do is sling all day long. And they give us some practice runs. Right, here's an F-14, what do you do? Here's an 18, what do you do? Here's an S-3, what do you do to go in for rescue? And then they test us on the last day. Crash, go. And we have the whole deck to ourselves. That's how we drill. And we run flight deck, except for this time, since we're having such a lot of people on board, we're doing not so many drills. Because usually, as soon as an aircraft comes on board and we're done for the day, we say that aircraft's on fire. And all the crew goes out, we run out, we get the pilot out. And of course, depends on who the pilot is. He doesn't like to be pulled out of his aircraft right away. He wants to go down and get some chow. He wants to relax. He wants to go to the ready room. But instead, stay in your bird. Here they come. And we bring the forklifts up and the crash basket. And we go out, we shut him down, pin him in, and take him out.
So you're on standby as long as a plane is coming in. You have to be here ready to go.
If there is an aircraft on the deck that has its engines running,
you got to be here.
If they're like just before on elevator number 4, we had an aircraft that was refueling.
Right.
And they had JP4 inside, which is the Army and Marine Corps military fuel. Well, that fuel is too volatile, so we had to dilute it with JP5 before it goes into the hangar bay. I can't have JP4 inside the hangar bay. So we diluted enough so it's safe. And so as soon as they're doing that, my guys are standing by. Anything to do with the aircraft fueling operations, because we play Murphy and If all day long. I'll walk around the deck and I'll just go, what if this happened? And hey guys! And boom, we go into it and see how we'd handle it, just in case that actually did happen. So what's nice about the military and the Navy-wide is, like myself, I'm taking over the crash act. I'm the leading petty officer now. So I'm a fresh face. I just came also, I was an instructor for the firefighting schools for the last 3 years. So I've got a fresh view on training. So as we come in, we'll throw a little more of this in there, and we'll throw a little more of that in there, and to see exactly how we'll take care of it. And we always go through the numbers. There's always a step procedure. First things first is always get the fire under control, get the fire back throughout the cockpit, bring my rescue guys in, and they all go through the numbers on how to safety the seats. There's nothing really changes during the safety aspect. You have to do this first, which is the safety of the seats.
What's that mean?
The seats on all the jet aircraft eject.
Right.
And there's a safety mechanism on the top of the seat and also in between the crotch of the pilot. And so what we do is we hit both. And to make sure they're safe and they don't ignite, we put pins in the seats. So even if the canisters do get pulled or the canopy ejection handles do get pushed, the seat won't light off. It won't even, the injectors can't fire. The pins won't go in them.
It's a safety feature.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Two questions.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you get your Midwestern accent, boy?
I've been in this.
How long you been in the Navy?
I've been in the Navy for 15 years.
Oh, for God's sake.
God, you lost it.
How do
right
you
now.
use those cables up there? Again?
These loops on the top.
No, the cables. You say you use that, right?
Yes.
Time.
These little loops on the top, each one goes onto, well, we used to have we dropped our crash crane off in Norfolk to get it weight tested, and so right now we can't really fly any jet aircraft until we get the crane back.
Okay.
Every single aircraft here that's flown here was flown before we craned the crane off.
Right.
And we're getting it weight tested. But we have a crane that comes in, picks up the sling.
Okay.
It goes back. I've got 2 guys that wipe down the excess grease off to the holding points. They go and attach to the aircraft. And then we can either use that, or I have these what are called fabricated straps in case the aircraft is over the side and I can't get it attached to the top because the angle is too steep. I've got these straps I can pull it out of the catwalk with and over the side in case it's hanging.
It's a mobile crane?
It's a mobile crane.
May I ask
It
you
holds
this?
70,000 pounds.
We watch on television now pictures of World War II, planes crashing, what they're going to do, all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure if you're an instructor, you've gone through that, pointed out all shortcomings of the way they used to do it is the way you're doing it now.
Everything that the Navy does now is probably because someone died the other way. And that's pretty much how we've always learned our lessons. We're not going to do that because, unfortunately, someone has gotten killed from doing it, especially with safety in the seats. Used to be you just hit the head knockers and go in, but it's happened to where pilots have come conscious and remember their last memory of crashing and reaching for the ejection handles. Once you touch those ejection handles, you don't have time to say, up! That seat goes up and back. And if you're lying on top of it and not in the seat, you're gone. It'll literally rip you in half because it's designed to go through and up out of the canopy. That's what it's used for.
Then have you seen pictures of that in the old pictures that they took during the war?
I've actually seen a few light off in the hangar bay by mistake.
Really?
And embed themselves into the ceiling. That's how much they go back.
Yeah, about 200 feet, I think.
It's not high.
Oh my God.
When it goes, it goes. And sometimes you got to make sure those canisters are safe and pinned. Even when you pull the seat out and you have it on the deck and they're trying to do maintenance on it, they forget because it's complacency. If you do things over and over and over again, sometimes you're just like, I got it, no problem. And then that memory lapse will kill you.
The first one I know of is the air show at Willow Grove Naval Air Station, 1980.
You got them lined up, I may as well take mine too. Best picture all day.
Fueling tanks? Fueling tanks are on wings. We know how to identify all the ribbing. We've got the ADR-14 mags, 9 mags. I can show you those in a second. It identifies all fuel cells in the aircraft, what composite material.
Like an AFFF goes to it, and then put this in the punch it in the side of the plane, and then right like during the where the engine nacelle is, and we could just pump AFFF straight into the nacelle.
1.5-inch nozzle booster.
And then we got all kinds of fittings, but
I bet you you're doing that, using that gun, does it shake a lot?
it's almost like a Tommy gun.
I can use it.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of force to use it because of the way the jack Yeah, it shakes pretty bad.
Oh yeah, you got.
So what specifically is that used for now? Tell me what it's used for.
To cut metal, to cut aircraft. Like you said, with this one, if you have like an internal fire, say in a tank somewhere,
Yeah.
This'll puncture it. It has a fitting where you can take a water hose, you attach the water hose in there, and the water will come out these holes, and it'll come in there.
Navy's been using that for years. The fire company just started using it. Did you start using it?
Actually, we just started using the Hers to cover.
Yeah, we've been using them
You've
for years.
used that for years, yeah, because they're even downstairs, below decks, they're starting to get into using a lot of the
You with the fire
civilian
department?
fire department type stuff. These are neat because you can cut a car or an aircraft in half in no time.
It's like a can opener, really.
Yeah.
It's a vibrator, right? They'll do with air pressure, yeah. But what the biggest thing is you want it for rescue. Of course, you don't care what you're going to do to the piece of equipment that it's. You want to get to the victim.
Yeah, the wreck was bad enough. An aircraft crash was bad enough, and the only way we get in to the aircraft, we'd use one of these. We'd use it if we couldn't get through the conventional methods of getting into the aircraft.
Puts a blank place after vapor.
So you can take that anywhere. You don't have to have it tied to a ship anywhere.
No.
Actually, it's just inventory on our paratech. We carry it everywhere we need.
How long would that bottle last if you're using it?
I believe it's
What size is that? It's like a 1 hour.
No, that's only good for about
30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And we had a guy the other day, we did some training inside an aircraft, and he used it in about
Or about 5
5,
6 minutes,
7 or 10
Yeah, well, he must have been breathing hard.
Yeah.
He was
But
sucking.
He's
Yeah,
a
because
built guy,
supposed
but,
to. Yeah, he was probably a big
so it is
fall.
possible to suck it dry and
Yeah, well, they say 30 minutes, and most of your air packs have a warning bell on it. It's supposed to be 5 minutes. And if you don't conserve it and do it properly, you can go through 15 minutes, really. And you said the other fellow, what, 8 minutes, 7 minutes?
yeah, I mean that was pull and hose.
Yeah, well, he's
the
exerting
inside
himself, sure.
of
Yeah, that's what usually happens.
I knew you would make it.
I thought you're really doing strenuous work. You're going to breathe heavier.
And plus how anxious you are, just the nervousness.
That's the big thing. Adrenaline is going. Adrenaline is going. You're right.
Which means usually the sparrows going to bounce over the deck.
Okay, we'll get on there.
It's not that long.